Hey everybody, it is a pleasure to have you here in our webinar, Facebook User Acquisition 101. In today's session, we will go over the pillars of successful user acquisition and best practices. For those of you who doesn't know me, which is most of you, I assume, my name is Tom Blotman, been in Facebook for the past 2 years, helping companies grow through marketing and advertising on our platform. Daniela from Audience Network Publisher Solutions is here as well, and she will assist me from backstage. At the end, we're going to have a few minutes for Q&A. So if you have any questions, feel free to place them in the chat box, and we will try to address as many as possible. So before we start driving in Facebook user acquisition, I want to mention our mission here at Facebook Gaming, to create the world's biggest gaming community. We are here to bring gamers to their favorite games and game developers to their users. As part of this mission, we are continuously making Facebook to be the best place to launch and grow your mobile game. Our solutions are based on 3 main pillars. The first one is discovery, which in this one we drive discovery through our family of apps and connect people with things they love. The second is scale, as no business can grow without scale. We are offering very large scale, billions of users, consumers, and players across our platform, which we will see in a few minutes. And the innovation, where we enable business growth through innovative solutions. Today, we will focus on the advertising and user acquisition side of innovation. Our solutions are tailored for the game lifecycle. For each stage throughout the lifecycle, we offer optimal solutions to maximize growth and success in that given time period. Therefore, it is very important to start the process after all possible loose ends are tied. Finalize strategy, product testing, initial KPIs, road mapping, and more. This is the way we divide these 4 stages. For each, a slightly different strategy and KPI. For example, soft launch would be the time to understand how users respond to our game, discover potential, test different ad variations, campaign settings, and initiate final tweaks to your game. The global launch would be the high scaling stage, where you are going to officially release your game worldwide and doubling down on user acquisition, focusing heavily on bringing as many players to your game as possible. After that, you'll gradually shift into quality over quantity state of mind, where you focus on ROAS KPIs. ROAS is return on ad investment, and maximizing lifetime value. In this slide, you can see how initially your marketing spend is larger than your revenue, while over time your return of investment is increasing in each stage of the game lifecycle, and you become profitable as your game matures. Now, let's discuss the things that we're here to talk about today. User acquisition. So as you see, user acquisition is a Q&A game. We're going to go over 4 to 5 questions today, but let me showcase the questions first. So the first one is going to be, how do I extend my reach? And this is through Facebook placements. The second one is, how can I get the right people? And that is through targeting and optimization. The third is, how do I maximize value? And that is through auction and bidding. The fourth is, how can I catch people's attention on the feed or not on the feed, stories, for example, and that is creative format. And the fifth question, which we will not dive deep today, is how do I know it's working? Measurement and testing, because it's kind of a big topic. So maybe in the next one, I will also refer to that. So let's start. So the first one is, how do I extend my reach? And let's talk about the reach game and Facebook placements. So when you partner with us, you partner not only with the Blue app, the Facebook app that has over 2.2 billion users growing steadily, but you also partner with Instagram that has 1 billion users, Messenger that has 1.3 billion users, and Audience Network that have over 1 billion users in reach. So we don't only provide a very high reach, we provide authenticity, real players logged in with their real identities across Facebook family of apps. So it's not indicators, it's not cookies, it's actually real players, real people. As mentioned, we offer many placements and formats for you to reach your users. In addition to the reach, our algorithm knows how to allocate and deliver more value when you are using more placements. And I will share a few tips for placement optimization. That means opting into more placements in order to reach more people. So our system knows how to allocate impressions for better performance, which users be at the best price in each platform. So for example, user A can cost you X on the Facebook feed, but can cost you 0.7x on Instagram stories. Therefore, the platform will know how to allocate the impression in order to find the best value user for you in the right place. The second thing, which is more measurement oriented, is when comparing results, you should look at overall performance over standalone performance. That means that when using more placements or placement optimization, when opting in to more placements, you will need to analyze your results through the ad set or campaign level rather than standalone placement. Because each placement will impact other placements in the same campaign. So when trying to analyze a campaign that has few placements in versus a campaign that has, for example, one placement in, don't go in the placement level, go in the ad set level, in the overall level. The last thing is basically the logic behind it is more placements means broader reach, which that leads to lower CPMs, plus our optimized delivery systems that will eventually deliver the best results. Here you can see our current different placements within our family of apps. How and where you can meet your target audience. So this is the placements that's currently available in each of these apps or platforms. And this leads us to the next question: how do I make sure that we are targeting the right gamers and maximizing value? Or how do I get to the right people? The answer lies behind the technology of our targeting and optimization mechanisms. So how our targeting and optimization works? We offer two components or targeting layers. The first one is obviously that targeting, which is your defined target audience, and the second is optimization goal that ensures your ad reaches to the people within your target audience that are most likely to take your desired outcome or action. How does it work? Our machine learning crosses between your defined target audience, so let's say, for example, people who likes mobile games between the ages of 20 to 45, with your desired outcome, for example, people who purchase within apps. That way, our system is able to find people that are both standing your targeting criteria and that their behavior on our platform matches your optimization goal. Now, let's dig a bit deeper in our targeting capabilities. One of our most powerful targeting tools is custom audiences. This means targeting people that you already know. For example, a list of top purchasers or top active users in your app. Alternatively, you can leverage your actions, the actions that people are taking on your app through your mobile SDK. For example, people who launched your app in the past 7 days. You can either use your own data or leverage the SDK, as I said, to create these audiences. So custom audiences is an amazing solution, yet we would usually also look for scalability, how to find new players and increase volume in your game. You can use these custom audiences also as a seed audience in order to create a scalable lookalike audience. As most of you know, lookalike audiences are generated from a seed audience, which represents a group of people with certain behavior or common characteristics. Therefore, you can create, for example, a lookalike audience based on people who purchased from your app in the past 30 days. Another advanced option is to create a value-based lookalike audience, which will identify similar users based on their purchase behavior. That will basically spend more in your game. You will do that by uploading a richer data sheet, which includes parameters like how much users spend in each purchase or the total revenue per each user. And if you want to learn more about it, you can read it on our Facebook for Business Hub. You'll have all of the information there and how to basically upload that template to your ads manager. So we are in number 3 in our third question. So far we learned the game lifecycle basics, how to extend and optimize reach using placements, and how to leverage targeting capabilities for optimized ad delivery. Now we are going to focus on how to maximize value by understanding our auction and bidding mechanisms better. So the auction is a real-time process where you bid and compete for impressions at a given moment. The ads auction determines which ad to show in order to create the most value for both targeted individual and the advertiser. So in the screen, you can see a very simplified example of how it looks. We have two ads that are competing, and at the end, one ad basically won the impression, and therefore the user would see that ad. And now the rationale behind it. So the rationale behind the auction is basically how the auction decides which ad will win in a certain user at a given time. The rationale is not only based on the actual bid, means how much money you're willing to pay for an impression or for an action, but on the total value. So the total value is a mix of the bid itself, the estimated action rate, which is based on your ad history, and one of the most important components, as you see on the right side of the screen, users value, which includes parameters such as ad quality, post-click experience, users feedback, and more. As an advertiser, you must pay attention to all in order to win more auctions and drive better performance. Now that we kind of understood how our auction mechanism works, let's talk about bidding and bid strategies, obviously. So a bid represents what you're willing to pay to achieve your desired result from someone in your target audience. For example, whether it's app install or purchase or a level up event, you can bid for all of those. When bidding, we allow the advertiser to decide whether they want more control or either they prefer to utilize Facebook machine learning to take control and do the job for them. So on our platform, we focus on three types of biddings, as you can see on the screen. The first one is lowest cost with automatic bidding that gives the system the autonomy to identify the best cost per desired result while aiming to the lowest bid price possible. The second one is target cost bidding that tells us, basically our delivery system, to maintain a stable average. That means that the system can bid above or below the target bid while aiming to hit closest possible to your target cost. Here you have some control. So as you see, it's in the middle. The third one is lowest cost with a bid cap, and that directs our system to focus on users that are within your bid restraints and to avoid bidding or spending higher than your bid cap. Here you have most amount of control. The key takeaway here is that there is no strategy that fits all purposes. You have to test different bidding strategies considering your audience, game maturity, auction and competitiveness, desired KPI, and everything that is related to that. Ultimately, it is up to you, but generally, if you're not sure what to bid, I would suggest to start with lowest cost automatic bidding because it will enable you to understand how much people are willing to, let's say, to complete an action for which value. And once you learn that, you kind of know how to manually adjust it if needed. So now we are going to talk a bit about our optimization solution. So we talked about the gaming lifecycle, we talked about bidding and auction, and lastly, we're going to deep dive and understand better the optimization solutions that we are offering. So, sorry, I had to take a sip. So this slide is showcasing our app ads optimization evolution. In 2012, when advertising an app, you could only optimize for clicks. In 2013, we introduced mobile app installs optimization, which enabled the system to find users who tend to install more apps. In 2016, we had a very powerful addition to our optimization solutions by identifying user intent throughout app events and SDK, like app launch, level up, purchase, and more. So you can basically start optimizing towards post-install events. And in 2017 and 2018, we fully rolled out our very successful value optimization solution to help advertisers maximize users' value and return on ad investment. So this is a very simplified brief of how it looks. So these optimization methods will serve different KPIs and allocate delivery to the most relevant type of users. So we have the app installs that will find the best cost per player. We have the retention optimization, which will find the best cost per returning or retained player for day 2 or day 7. We have app events, which gives you the best price per desired action. Usually it will be a purchase. And value, which supposed to bring the highest return on ad investment players, the highest paying players to your game. So let's try to look at it. Let's have an overview of that and a bit more in-depth view of that. So once you figured out who and how you want to target based on your app lifecycle stage and monetization model, it's time to focus on an optimization strategy. You always need to understand your top KPIs, whether it is short or long term, and tailor your optimization accordingly. So when to use each? So in app install, you should be using as your primary KPI when cost per install is your the most important thing you try to achieve, and your goal is to maximize installs volume, obviously. For example, this might be best during the launch of a new game, when driving new users into that game is especially important, as well as ad-based games that are also heavily relying on getting the lowest CPI to get a good ad revenue margin. The second one is retention, that should be used in cases where your primary marketing KPI is obviously retention, as it works to maximize ad revenue by delivering ads to those who are most likely to install and return. App event optimization should be used if you care about driving single in-app actions, like, for example, purchase, as we mentioned a few times. So in order to drive first-time payers or single-time payers, and this makes more sense if you monetize from in-app purchases, and your goal is to drive payers of any value into your game. And the last one is value optimization, when you're obviously optimizes for driving the best return on ad spend. We find that this is also the best product to use when trying to drive the highest quality payers into your game. It should be noted that this solution will only work if your app is doing in-app purchases functionalities. So we understand the importance of numbers, data, technology, algorithms, but the only way that it will perform is by utilizing great creatives and tell a great story. So let's walk through some of our latest releases in terms of creative formats. First of all, let's start with basics, which is a video. I'm aware that this is not new to most of you, but still we see some advertisers that are not adapting to consumer behavior today. Video captures the attentions better, increases users' intent, and allow you to gather better insights on how your creative resonates with your target audience. In addition, studies show that vast majority of users prefer to learn about a product through a video. And as you all know, it's very important to listen to consumers because they are usually the ones who are determining trends. As you can see, we make sure that you can serve video ads across our different placements and family of apps. So let's say this will not be a limitation. If you want to serve a video, you'll be able to serve a video almost anywhere that you can advertise within our platforms and apps. The latest addition to our creative roster is Playable Ads, and I assume that some of you heard about it. Playable Ads allow our users to enjoy a quick version of your game, currently on Facebook feed and rewarded videos, ad placements. Playable Ads start with a lead-in video and a call to action indicator to get the user to tap and try a demo of your game instantly right there, whether it's on the feed or in a rewarded video. Playable Ads creating a higher intent users that will download and engage with your game, and we will and more to come in this department, so stay tuned. We hope to have a bit of innovation there in the next following month. Continuing our creative discussion, we cannot not mention stories, and as consumers and people love stories. Ever since we introduced stories feature on Instagram, it's been one of our most popular formats and also expanded throughout other placements. Stories provide a full screen rich experience that allows you to tell your story in a more appealing and captivating way. We are seeing story ads on the rise, and so does its performance. So highly recommend to start testing it if you're not already there. Let's wrap this up before we are heading on to questions, because I know we gave you a bit of information bombing, but let's try to somehow organize it. So when utilizing our platforms for user acquisition strategies, always keep in mind the following. So one is your game lifecycle. Take in consideration the different stages, different strategies, the game maturity, different KPIs that you are pursuing. The second is remember that scaling is key. Without scale, consumer businesses cannot grow. Utilize our plus 2 billion potential reach across our family of apps and ad placements. Number 3 was auction, bidding, and targeting, and these 3 will determine your ad delivery and will affect highly on your performance. Understand your KPIs, your true bidding value, and compete successfully in the auction to reach your audiences and grow your game. The fourth one is optimization solutions. So based on your genre and on your business model and game maturity again, make sure you utilize our optimization solutions to maximize your value and return on ad investment. Whether, for example, if you ad-based or subscription-based or IAP-based, you need to basically match the right optimization solution to your game and your game economics. And lastly, without a good creative, it'll be almost impossible to utilize the above. Make sure you're giving it the attention and the thought it deserves. Make a good, educated discussion about creatives because it has a lot of impact on your performance. Well, these past 30 minutes was only the tip of the iceberg, yet a very good base to start with. So thank you very much. Have a great day and hope to see you next time. Hello, everybody. So now we are going to take questions, but before that, I would like to introduce to you again Alessio, which is sitting next to me from the global gaming team, and Daniela from Audience Network. She's here as well, and we are ready to take questions. So feel free to start posting questions in the chat box. But before we're gonna dive into that, we're gonna share a very short poll for you to fill out, and then we can start. Okay, thank you very much for your responses. And let's begin with our first question. So we have Jay that is asking, what is the basic difference between purchase optimization and value optimization? So I will give the mic to Alessio.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So the question is, what is the difference between value optimization and purchase optimization? So to answer this, I will go back to the concept of optimization. When we talk about optimization, is basically imagine it as you're telling the algorithm, the system, what to look for. So you have 1,000 people you want to you can potentially target. What is the prioritization criteria that the algorithm will use to target some people before others? And that's what optimization does. And when you're talking about value as against purchase, is a matter of what metric is the algorithm trying to optimize towards or try to improve. In terms of value optimization, what the algorithm will look for is to maximize ROAS. So on the same number of purchases, these purchases will be bigger, or it will maximize the value of these purchases. For purchase optimization, instead, you're looking for just the event of purchase, which means that it will not look only at ROAS, but it will mainly look at the occurrence of these events or purchase rate. So on purchase optimization, to conclude the question, the purchase rate will be higher. On value optimization, the ROAS will be higher.
Super. We're starting to get more questions, which is great. So we have Artem that is asking how to measure user value. So this is kind of a tricky question because are we asking it depends if we're talking about the technical term of how do we see the value that is coming out of our platform based on the ads that you're promoting, or by creating a lifetime value model. I will assume that this goes towards how to measure users' value on our platform. So if we're talking from the ads perspective, utilizing the SDK with purchase events, adding value parameters that will send the actual purchase value to our platform. This will also help our algorithm to optimize better for the next purchasers. In terms of lifetime value, it's more of a tricky question, but basically you want to create a certain model that will not only tell you how much did you gain from a single purchase, but how much did you gain from a certain user or a group of users in a given time throughout their lifetime value. So this is kind of advanced. There is no one formula that fits all, but I would say that let's say to start with, it's accumulative purchases value for groups of users in a given time. Utilize your third-party measurement partners, or either utilize Facebook Analytics to help you with that. All platforms today have a lifetime value dashboard that you can easily see your estimated lifetime value for a given time, and kind of start building your model based on that. Next question.
So we have, okay, what is the difference between, so always Artem is asking, what is the difference between minimum ROAS and high value optimization? So if I understand correctly, what we're talking here is the bidding strategy of our optimization solution. So we're talking about always value optimization, which, as we said before, is optimizing for maximizing their return on the ad spend. And with this optimization, there's a solution that you can use on the bidding side. There's two solutions. The first one is the lowest cost. So you're basically relying on the algorithm and telling the algorithm you have free will you have autonomy on the algorithm to go and look for any kind of users that will maximize the ROAS without specifying the value of this ROAS. The minimum ROAS bidding is a bidding solution that helps you define that minimum ROAS. So what is the minimum ROAS that you will be willing to accept for some users? So you will, for example, insert 0.50, 0.60, 0.70, depends what you look for. As of a best practice, usually we say, as with all the bidding solutions, try always to go slower in a way. So start very lower than what you would expect. For example, if you expect day 7 ROAS at 70%, start with 10% on minimum ROAS bidding, and start going up from there depending on what kind of volumes you're getting. Because all the bidding solutions are very good in terms of controlling the costs, but can highly cap your scaling capabilities. So this is definitely something you should consider.
Perfect. I just want to add two quick things, because I see that there's a lot of questions about value optimization, and I see that some of you don't have that that function and when you're trying to create an ad on the ad set level. So in order to have value optimization, you need to make sure that you are answering all of those 4 questions. First of all, you are using purchase event optimization. Second of all, you are passing purchase value. Third, you're having a solid purchase event flow. So we don't have an exact number, but let's use 100 purchases per week as the magic number. And you have a lot of different price points. So for example, if you're doing a subscription model and you have only 2 types of subscription, one costs $5.99, one costs $6.99, you will not be able to utilize this option yet because you have only 2 price points. So again, important to have a lot of different price points. Once you will have all of those 4 in place, you will be able to utilize value optimization. It will appear in your account. Another thing that is important I want to amend from the presentation, which I showed you the retention optimization capability. So that option is no longer available. So apologies for that. Just want to make it clear. Yes, so let's go to another question by Yoav. How do you attribute reach without clicks? So the way that we're doing that is basically you have Facebook's attribution window, the classic attribution window, not the classic, but the default attribution window in Facebook is 28 days post-click and 1 day post-view. Nevertheless, different businesses requires different attribution models. So as we see it today, as long with our measurement partners, 1 day post-view and 7 days post-click are the most classic attribution models. That means that if users saw your ad and installed your app or purchased in a time frame of 24 hours, it will be attributed to that certain ad set and campaign. So yeah, this is basically how our view through attribution works. And let's see if we have more questions in place.
So we have one question for our Tamo is, the question is, will it be possible to get cost cap to event optimization and not only for install? Yes, definitely. This is something that is on our development line. We don't have a timeline for when this will be available, but definitely you can see, like, follow our groups and our newsletters. That's the best way to check when these new solutions will be available for everyone.
So there's a question from Yoav. How much ad spend should I agree to as the algorithm learns how to bid? So it's not only a function of an ad spend, because for the algorithm to learn or for the system to optimize better, we need signals, and we need as many signals as possible. The sooner the better. So that means that you would usually want to, you would usually want to give autonomy and flexibility to the algorithm to find those users. Means you want to reduce restrictions on the ad set level, means use more placements, larger audiences, less constraints, higher bid if possible, in order for the algorithm to find more users that are compatible with your optimization method and to convert them. That way, our algorithm is doing the process of finding similar users and help you convert better. So the function of spend depends on, let's say, your lifetime value and CPA. So for example, we do want to see at least 100 event fires per week. We can also use a certain number, says 20 to 25 per day. I know it's not a perfect, it's not divided to the same, but let's say we are aiming higher. So what you do is, let's say you're trying to get 15 or 20 purchases per day, multiply it by your CPA, and then you kind of get the budget that you need in order to get the algorithm to learn better. Yeah, now we are going to go to Daniela from Audience Network for the next question.
Hi, everyone. So there's one question related to monetization with Audience Network. The question is, I receive a notification that my interstitial placement is failing quality. How can I know which specific placement? So in the main left menu in Monetization Manager, you're going to have the option to click on the link called Integration. Then you select Quality Checks, and you will be able to see all the quality score for every app that you have. There's 3 different types of scores: failing, close to failing, and passing. If any of your apps is failing, you can then click on the link that says See Failing Placements, and you will have the list of all the placements that are failing quality. If you want to know which are the best practices that you can improve in order to optimize your placements. You're going to have also the option to see best practices per ad format. So you're going to have best practices for ad recorded videos, for interstitials, for recorded video, and native. So you can check here all the placements and apps that are failing, so you can improve those specific placements and make sure your app is passing the quality test. Let me see if we have more questions.
Okay, yes, we do have more questions. Alessio will take the next one.
Yeah, so we have Theodora asking about what kind of targeting option to use at first for the first burst of UA. And she's asking if the lookalike is a good solution for the first burst. So usually we advise not to use lookalike at the beginning of campaigns. The same way we advise not to use value optimization and app event optimization for, let's say, a day 0 of the launch of the game. That is because these solutions, both lookalike and value optimization and app event optimization, rely a lot on machine learning. So the more data they will have, the more they will be proficient in a way, the more they will be efficient. So in terms of adoption, we always say at the beginning, start with mobile app installs on one side and try to go broad also in terms of targeting. So the more people you can welcome in the game, the more users you can acquire, the more data you will have in the second point to let's say teach both the lookalike audiences and the value optimization solutions to be more efficient in the later stage of the game.
Perfect. Let's see if we have any more questions. Okay, we have a question from from John. Which ad placement works best in terms of KPIs? Yeah, so this is a question that we kind of get a lot. The success of ad placements is kind of depends on the relationship between, and I will explain. We usually, if you remember, I said earlier that the algorithm will work better when it comes to giving it more autonomy, more flexibility. Therefore, when you use more ad placement, and we mentioned it in the webinar itself, your results are highly. We predicted that your campaign will operate much better and you get better results. And the reason is that our algorithm is able to find users, or to be more precise, people, based on where they are at a certain given moment. So let's say me as Tom, I can be on Facebook in 1 minute, I can be on Instagram in the next, and I can be on Messenger in a different time. And the system will bid for me in the place that I would be most likely to convert and the place that I would be cheaper than other. That means that the system is doing automatic optimization based on the placements that are open. So in other words, the more placements, the better. I would recommend usually to use automatic placements. Of course, nothing is 100%. I can totally understand if you have some combination that you use that works better, and this is up to you to test. But we will always recommend to start with automatic placements and then kind of modify and see how it goes. Also important to check the results on the campaign level. That means that if you'll start breaking it down by the placement level, and you'll see, for example, that audience network is cheaper than Instagram, and you decide to shut down Instagram, next time you will launch a campaign without Instagram, you might see the results decrease. Therefore, more placements usually means better results, better overall results. So hopefully that is helpful. Let's see if we have more.
Okay, we have one question, but is it possible to use instant experience and playable ads in one ad? Okay, playable like a part of instant experience. Yes. So Artem is saying if you can use the instant experience, which is the basically imagine like a mini website within Facebook that loads automatically. And if you can have a playable inside, a playable ad inside of it, that's how it works with playable ads. So playable ads are let's say newest format, I believe, because they were released last September, so they're younger than a year. And they're composed of mainly two elements. I'm talking about playables on the Facebook feed. On Facebook feed, playables will be composed by the lead-in video, which is the video that you will find in the news feed while you scroll for your content. Then when clicking the video, the instant experience will open, and that's an HTML5 experience where users can demo the game. After that, user will be able to download the game or to be driven to the store. This double element it only works for feed. Instead, when in interstitial and when in rewarded video, the playable will just be the HTML5 demo game. So it's different between the feed and interstitial and rewarded videos, but definitely the instant experience is a big part of the success that we're seeing on playables.
Super. I want to mention something that is not in the question, but is super important, even though I see that we have a couple of new questions. Let me see. Okay. There's a question if it's possible to send a video after the session. Yes, it is possible, and it will get sent. So what I want to mention is CBO, campaign budget optimization. It is important to talk about it. I'm not going to dive into it too deep right now, but it's important to understand that campaign budget optimization is available on the platform and is getting more and more priority on our end because we see great results there. And basically, we are going to transition slowly but surely towards campaign level budgeting. So just in few words, campaign budget optimization is moving the budget up from the ad set level to the campaign level, giving the algorithm the ability to funnel budgets based on ad set performance. And of course, the algorithm is taking in consideration both ROAS and volume. So it's kind of trying to balance out both, so you can get both scale and you can meet your KPIs. So I would recommend to test it as much as possible and to start working with it because in the future, early next year, it's going to be mandatory. Let's think about that. There's a question about how to set the budget. So the budget it's pretty straightforward. You consolidate ad sets. So let's say you have 5 ad sets. Each ad set has 100 daily budget. You just add the ad sets, add them up. You get $500 on the campaign level. So it's exactly like that. Let's see if we have more questions. I think that we are good. I think that all of the questions have been received and answered. So we are going to say good luck and thank you for joining today. We're going to finish off with a very, very short survey. Again, it's going to appear on your screen in just a minute. Please fill it out. It will help us a lot. And we will hope to see you again very, very soon. Thank you very much.